So Joseph, as Mayor of this unique part of Australia, how's the Wild Rivers legislation going to impact if it goes the way that the state Labor government's looking at it?
Well, what we've always said is we're the first people who think that the rivers in Queensland or North Queensland needs protecting on the Cape. But protection doesn't mean lock-up. That's what we're arguing. Wild Rivers is very much a lock-up situation. We've got rivers here under under National Park. We've got nature conservation, which is enough protection. I've said this many times. You lock up a place, put a fence around it, and you restrict human activity. The ferals, the wild pigs, the wild cattle, cane toads, and they'll all make their way in there. And if nobody's in there to look after that part of the country, then those things will just run riot. And the biggest problem we have in these rivers is pigs. They dig off the banks, they create sediment inflow into the rivers, and we get big sandbars blocking river mouths. Unless we get rid of the wild pigs, that'll always happen. Wild cattle, they trample the countryside. The rain comes and all that place they trample is getting washed away down into the river. So you can't lock up country now. It's too late to lock up. They may have locked it up when Captain Cook went past, it may have worked. Today it's too late.
So where's the motivation for this coming from a government that's thousands of miles away from where we are right now?
Well, I think the government is playing a green tune. They're playing to the greenies with this. They want to lock up country and nobody goes in there. That's bad for the country, I reckon. If they want to look after country, they want to let people in there to look after it. And I think national parks and nature conservation parks are the way to go. Wild Rivers is just too over the top. And like the Jardine River, it's a beautiful river, it's protected enough, and we want to keep it that way. But when they get wild rivers in there, nobody can go in there, nobody can do anything. We don't know what will happen to it.
Now, people like the Wilderness Society and the Labor government will say that they've consulted for a long time.
Well, their way of consulting now is telling us what's going to happen. They did not come to us when the crucial decisions were making on what rivers to declare as wild rivers. They did not come to us to say why they're declaring wild rivers. They did this all behind closed doors, and now they're just coming to tell us this is what's going to happen. And they're calling it consultation. I say that's not consultation, that's just, the die's been cast. The rivers are going to be declared. They're not just coming to tell us what will happen when they are declared. Yep. It's not consultation, it's just telling us.
I see the billboards on the streets when I drive around the region here over the last couple of days, and obviously there's quite a lot of anger in the community that you've looked after this land and your people have looked after this land for many thousands of years.
Well, that's what they're saying, we want to keep them pristine. I said, well, who the bloody hell do you think been keeping them pristine for the last 2,000 years? Or even more. But like I say, there are now feral animals and weeds in this part of the country. So you can't lock it up now. Best thing for it is to get people in there, to keep on working at cleaning it up. Now if you get rid of the wild pigs, the wild things, that'll be good for the country, but you've got to watch them from coming back in. You can't put a fence around it and say they're not going to come back in. Because those animals, they don't care about fences. They go over, under, through. So, yeah.
And I guess in wrapping up, you've got two Labor politicians that look after this area at the moment. The state Labor politician, Jason O'Brien, and Jim Turnow for Leichhardt. How have they been relating to this subject?
I think Jim Turnow keeps saying that it's not a federal matter, it's a state matter. And what we say about Jason O'Brien is he's a Labour Party man in Cape York. He's not the Cape York representative in Parliament. So whatever Anna says in Brisbane, Jason says here. Whatever we tell him never gets to Brisbane. Because Jason will always run the party line.
So let the management of the rivers up this end of the world be looked after and managed and owned by you folk.
That's what we've been doing for the last, like I said, 20,000, 40,000 years. Yeah. Why change it now? Yeah. And wild rivers won't change anything. You can declare whatever you like. Those animals and those, feral weeds and plants, They don't care what laws passed. They'll keep on invading those rivers.
Indeed.
And the only people that will keep them clear and clean is us.
Yeah.
Unless they're going to spend millions of dollars getting people from down there to come up and clean them.
Great. Thanks for your time, Joseph.
Thank you.